Hello all, it's Melinda. I'm here today to help Grace Islander with her July Scrapathon. It's her 1 year anniversary on YouTube, and I'd like to thank her for inviting me to join this. Our challenge today is to use an old product, old kit, or old products. And I went through my kits, and I have a little bit of Fancy Pants Happy Place left. It's from 2015. I have quite a few embellishments left, and I have all the alphabets. They're kind of huge, so that's why I never used them. But I have a few papers and some stickers and stuff like that left from the kit, but not that many papers, I guess. And probably not these are probably my least favorite of the papers, but I'm going to try to do a layout with them, and I'll take you along for the ride. So I'm going to put you on fast forward and let you watch. Thank you.
I'm going to start out by going through all the papers and figure out what I want for my background and my layers. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. I have these 3 photos of my dog, and so I'm going to rush through here picking through. I'm going to fast forward it for you so you don't have to watch me pick through all these. And I pulled out some of the ones that I thought I might use, not knowing exactly what colors I'm going to pull. I have these 3 frames. They are not from this kit, but they are been in my stash for a while. And I'm just trying to see which ones I want to go with each one. I think the colors are going to be the yellow, the pink, and the aqua color. I'm torn about the word paper. I love text paper, but this one looks like handwriting, and it makes me wonder if my journaling that it's going to have to go right above it is going to get lost with it, so we'll see. And it's introducing more black, so I have to decide whether I want to do that. The light pink I love, so I'm going to keep it. It matches her collar. I know that the word I want in my title to be out of these letters is dog. And I had to dig through all of them, so I spared you having to watch that. And I picked the letters that were the same 3 colors. Now, the aqua frame is not the right color. It's too muted, too yellowed. So I'm going to attempt to change that out. I'm thinking I'm going to use these, but they don't end up staying. The one thing that's throwing me is that I would have to bring red in somewhere else, and I don't like that idea. I'm digging through to find a paper that I can make a frame out of. I start with this one, but I realize that it's going to mainly be white. The polka dots aren't going to show up enough, so I'm going to try another one. And this is just from my stash, and it's an old paper. I think it's Scenic Route, and they haven't been around for a while. I'm going to make this 4 layers of the same one. I'm going to just cut it by hand. This is something that I could have definitely used my silhouette for to make the frame, but I was just trying to be lazy and be quick. So I'm going to cut all 4 at once with my big scissors. And when you cut layers like this all at once, you sometimes get a problem with the scissors angling, and so they're a little bit off, but in the end, it's all good. I'm just going to cut the rounded edges. And to cut the inside, I'm going to use the blade and just my metal ruler. Score it a couple times. And then I'll go back in with the scissors and cut the very corners. And then after I glue them all together, I will trim it up so it's nice and pretty. So the layout itself is almost done with those layers. They end up staying. I'm going to need to find a label to put my journaling on because I can't write on the background paper. Fancy Pants is known for their textured pattern paper, and it makes it a little hard to write on. And like I said, I like the idea of the tag sticking out, but I only have one that goes with the colors, and I don't want to bring red in. There's red in the background paper and the pluses, but I would have to bring the red in another place, and I just didn't want to deal with that. Just going to trim that up. It's a little tedious, but it'll all look good. Now what's bothering me is I have the G and the frame are the same color tones. They're right next to each other, so it kind of reads as kind of like a block of color, and I want to separate that out. So I'm going to try a few things before. I tried changing the G out, but the D was white and I didn't have a green D. So I'm going to stare at it for a second and then play around a little bit. I like that pink odd frame, the odd shaped frame, to be at the top, and the photo's going to sit on top of it instead of the photo being under it. So I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to look for I'm going to write my title out and try to figure out what letter stickers. Those are too big for what I want to say. So I have these I'm not even sure what brand they are. Little tile stickers. I use tile stickers a lot. And because they're black, I'm going to have to find another way to bring black in. I'm going to just start adhering these because I need to have everything stuck down so that I know where to stick the title. And that had to be trimmed. Just trying to figure out exactly how I place that. I decide that this frame I made looks too plain, so I'm going to draw a line around the picture. I think this works out because the letters have a black drawn line around them in dogs, so I think that looks good. Just playing with placement. I got to adhere these two because I didn't have a wide enough piece. Now I'm going to draw a line around all the layers to kind of define them. And to make sure that I have those level to each other so they look like they're one, I'm going to put it on my mat and lay it out like that. Now this is where I decide I'm going to change the yellow frame and the aqua frame so that it kind of separates the G and the frame. I'm going to use one of those little tabs. I'm just not sure which one or where. And this is where I'm thinking if I had these, I have to add the red. I only have 2 red hearts. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go through my labels to see if I have a label that will work. My thought was that I want a neutral label or maybe a yellow label. I didn't have either in that one. There's some pink. But I have these plain labels. And if I turn that big wide one upside down, I can stick it right up there. I'm going to hold it on my wax paper at first. I still have to adhere everything. It's still floating. And because of the black and the black, I'm going to do black on the text and the tile stickers are black. I want to add one more spot of black, so I'm going to trim down the background paper so that I can put a black mat around it. I'm just going to put some fun foam underneath the layer so that they stand up and don't just lay flat to the background page. Gives a little more dimension, gives a little shadow. I'm also going to raise up the yellow frame on 2 layers of the fun foam, and then the aqua one on just 1 layer, so they kind of sit on top of each other. And then the picture with the pink on the background is just going to lay flat to the background. I'm going to raise up the letters in dog. Because they're paper, they don't have any dimension to them whatsoever, and they were looking kind of flat. So I want to raise them up so they get a little shadow on them. Give them a little more emphasis. I'm going to get my trimmer so I can cut this down. I'm going to cut this down to 11.5 by 11.5, but because I have everything on there and it's centered, I have to cut each side a 1/4 inch. And then I take my Stampin' Up! One that I can plunge in basically to gut it. There's no point in wasting this. There's no mixed media on the page, so I don't need it to hold the background page together and hold it flat, so I'm going to gut. Now I usually gut my stuff pretty thin because I know how much is going to be covered by the layout, and I don't need to waste it by having a big wide band underneath of it. For some reason I put it on crooked and it had like a bump in it, so redo it. The ATG adhesive is really good. Just checking to make sure everything is square. I thought maybe I cut it crooked. The ATG adhesive, if you take it up pretty quickly, it doesn't stick, or you don't burnish it down, you can take it off. Now I started out with the title The Dog That Changed Our Lives, but I realized that I wanted the bottom part of the title to actually stay within the confines of the DOG. So I changed the to this, and it says, "This dog changed our lives." And changed our lives fits very nicely underneath the word dog. It's a small little detail, but I thought it would work better. Just going to stick this label sticker, and it actually came with a black line drawn around it, so it fit in perfectly. Just going to stick a label. I'm going to put the date on it under the yellow frame. I'm going to first draw in pencil, and then I'm going to fast forward to me drawing in the permanent marker. And the journaling says, "Darby is our first whim, and we vow never to have any other type of dog. Whims are the best." Now I'm going to fold this up just to give it some dimension, and then I decide that I want to draw a pencil line around it. Normally I would sew it, but I was feeling super lazy about it today, and so I just draw the line on the messy line 2 times on each side, just to keep the overall flow of the layout the same with all the drawn lines. I'm going to show you some slow close-ups. I should say live close-ups. I didn't slow it down, I just had normal speed. Just showing you how the dimension looks. I'm going to flip it over, and this is what I do. I tape with washi tape, tape this edge down so that when I stick it in the page protector, the layout behind it doesn't get caught on where the edge is right there. So I tape it down, and then I write on the backs of my layouts for my own personal use what layout it is. This is layout 85 of 2017, the date that I finished it, the process video that it is. This is process video number 27 for me, and then why I made the layout. So this is for the July Scrapathon. It's just for my reference, and it's come in handy, so I like doing it. There's going to be close-ups, and if you'll notice in the close-ups, I did add the pink sticker and the yellow heart to that one aqua frame. I will leave links below to Anna's page, The Grace Islander, and I will also leave links to April Lily, where you can win a grand prize gift certificate if you submit a layout. All that's in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Bye.